friend. My name is PEtrovick, and for the past 25 years, I've been teaching, coaching, and training people how to create a better quality of life through the network marketing profession. You know, it's all about creating a quality of life from home. You know, my journey hasn't always been easy, but I got to tell you, it has been worth it. Since our kids were 8 and 10 years old, they've had 2 full-time stay-at-home parents, and are now 35 and 33, and they're amazing adults because we got to spend so much time with them. What I've realized over the years is that success and prosperity has a lot to do with our philosophies, our programming on the conscious as well as the subconscious level. And the truth is, from time to time, we need to get advice and counsel from people who are where we want to grow. My question for you is, why is it? Why is it that perhaps some people in your company or organization have had more success than you have? What do they do, and how do they think that has enabled them to create that level of success? Well, I've created this series, and I call it Prosperity and the Mentors. And I've assembled just some amazing people, top leaders in our profession, who've created the prosperity and abundance in all areas of their life. And I want to take you behind the curtain so you can understand their habits, their tools, their philosophies, how they handle the struggling times, as well as how do they, continue to build on their success and overall happiness. Now, my guests today are a couple that have coached literally thousands and thousands of people around the world. They've used the power of social media to generate leads, get sales, and make money from home. They've been recognized countless times as top income producers and trainers. They've got countless awards, and most importantly, they've created this lifestyle all from home and being stay-at-home parents, which is pretty cool. Now, it hasn't always been this easy for them. Back in, it was 2014, I think things were pretty different. They were a lot like most business owners who, got started because they were wanting to succeed and they wanted to do it really fast, and, their results fell hopelessly short of their expectations. And they were discouraged by a lot of their family and friends, as you and I probably have been as well. And they realized at one point in time that what they really, really needed to do was to actually learn how to market. This is called network marketing, but nobody ever teaches us how to market. So over a 6-month period, they got thousands of dollars worth of courses. They took massive action. And once they took on that entrepreneur mindset and the mindset of a leader, that's when their business really started creating some major momentum. And they've actually developed a business and earned 6 figures on a monthly basis. My guests today are the lovely and talented Leah and Todd Getz. Hey guys, thanks so much for being here today.
Hi, thanks so much for the awesome introduction, Terry. It was great to be here. And you'll hear we definitely are stay-at-home parents. Our 18-month-old is running around. So they make appearance, but you're definitely at least going to hear them.
Well, let's take folks a little bit more behind the curtain and talk a little bit about some of those early struggles and why you really got into the network marketing profession and how you really created the quality of life that you have today.
For us, it really comes back to family. We had wanted children for a long time. Our first son came, and I started being a stay-at-home mom, and Todd traveled all the time. Flying out Thursday or Sunday afternoons, flying back late Thursday night, early Friday mornings, and it sucked. I mean, I was a part-time single mom, and our son was really being traumatized, and dropping daddy off at the airport and stuff was a really big deal. And it just wasn't the life that we wanted, and we knew that, but we didn't know how to another way. We didn't see a way of getting around that until we found the home business industry. And they were like, dang, this could be it. We could do this. We can bring him home. And we went at it hard, and we had, both were successful in the corporate world before that. And, but we stunk. Like it did not work as intended. And it wasn't, as you said, till we came online a year into our business that things started to change, and we started to get traction and really worked on our skill set and became, master marketers and able to build the lifestyle that we wanted. I think it was 18 months after we started online that we were able to bring him home. And since then, we've been full-time parents to our now 2 little boys, which is great.
Yeah, that's amazing. You guys have created such an impact, and I just love who you are and what you represent online, and how you really can equip people for success. How would you guys define prosperity and abundance today, if you could put a definition on it?
I don't know. Personally, I'd say it's peace about having your needs met. You know, having it's that piece of, yeah, we're covered, right? And knowing that things can change, ups and downs, but we're good. We're good. We have peace about it. We're resilient. We've got, whatever. It's that peace to me that, that's really what that comes down to.
Any thoughts, Todd?
Yeah, the thing that we really come to realize is that, even when the money starts coming in, you can still not really feel like you're fulfilled in life, right? And, that's a point where when you really start wondering, well, if the money isn't it, then what is it? And really, you've probably all heard this before. It's not getting what you want, but it's wanting what you have. Sorry.
That's okay.
Meet our younger son now.
This is Henry.
Hi.
But that was, and I think for us, that was a big part of it, especially when like the 6-figure month started coming. Just really being able to step back and say, okay, well, we thought this was it, but now, why is our life really not what we want it to be right now? And so we really started having to reevaluate things and where we were spending our time and what we were spending our time on, and exactly, how do we get to that point where, we actually are living the lifestyle that we want, where we can spend time with our kids and we don't have a bunch of anxiety about this or that or whatever it is. And it's really just a mindset. It's not really just the things in your life that you have. It's the way you think about them.
All right. Have you guys created any rituals, like every morning you do this and every evening you do that?
Yes, I really, for us, we've been in a transition period for almost a year of working towards getting our house up to and ready to be sold in Oklahoma, and moving now to Florida and getting resettled. And so that's been a really great part for us, is now that we're here, we're in our new house, we're getting settled in, is be able to really get in that rhythm again. And so I have, it's kind of nice. We sit out on the lanai in the morning with the pool and the fountain and the canal and do gratitude, prayer, personal development stuff. I do that every morning after I drop my son off at school. And that just helps. Okay, I'm going to put him to bed for a nap, but that just helps me. I mean, that's been huge, being in that rhythm, and it keeps my mind in the game, and I'll take care of him.
How about you, Todd?
Oops. Yeah, having that routine definitely helps, because for a long time there we were, just building our business as fast as we could, and when you're doing that, it's like the first part of that is just pure hustle, right? And you're just doing whatever you can to get things going, and then you finally start having some success, and so you focus on those activities that are helping you to get that success, and then you can get to a point where your business is growing so fast that now you're just putting out fires all day, right? And when it gets to that point, that's where you really need to figure out, well, how do I, because we would have nights where I would stay up all night, and it would be 5, 6, 7 a.m. in the morning, and I still haven't gone to bed yet, because I'm working on a video, I'm working on customer service, I'm working on whatever, right? Working on things that I thought had to get done in our business. And so, that was a point where we and then Leah would get up in the morning, and now she's with the kids by herself, and she's
doing exactly what we had created the business to not do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so, when it wasn't too long of experiencing that we figured out, well, we can't just run this business on the fly like this anymore, right? We need to have systems and processes in place, and we need to have a routine where, it's not just so chaotic, right? We need to bring some order to this. And once we started doing that, getting ourselves on a regular schedule, knowing what we're doing, at each hour of the day, that's when, things really started to settle down. That anxiety level started to come down, and, really just things were just, in more of a rhythm. And that's what we really focus on right now in our business, is not so much the strategy or the technical stuff or all that other stuff. It's, how do we organize our day? It's a time management. It's, just managing in life and work now.
And protecting that family time and all of that.
Right. So you guys have an interesting scenario with young children at home. So you get up, feet hit the ground first thing in the morning. What do you do for the first hour or two?
So that's sort of my time. He's still working on this. But I actually get up. Our 4-year-old is a bundle of energy. He's a go-getter. He's going to go change the world. But I get up at between 6 and 6:30 with him. And then I actually get him some food. And then as he's eating, I actually do some yoga, get some time in for me as he's taking that. And the little one's still sleeping. And then I pack his lunch, get him dressed off to school. And then when I get back, that's when I start doing my personal development stuff. So I've already done the exercise, little activity in the morning, and then I get into 5 to 10 pages of a good book, prayer, gratitude, and little practices that I've put together. And that's like an hour-ish. Once I get home. I'm also still juggling a child, so it's not like this Zen world where you like sit and meditate and fear silence.
That's peace. Yeah.
Right? But that's real. I mean, that's like sometimes Henry gets up early in the morning and I'm trying to do yoga and I have a kid like body slamming me. But that's what it's about. I mean, being with your kids and adjusting and knowing that it's not going to be perfect, but you're going to do it anyway. And any of those little steps that you're able to take are going to make a difference. And just relationship, like since implementing that stuff, not only just time with our kids, but relationship with us and just business, and just everything changes and shifts when you're able to put that time in for yourself in the morning. It impacts everything, and not just your business, but your life. You're more successful at life when you're able to do that.
Yeah. I know you guys are big on mindset, and I think that's a great way to get your mind pointed in the right direction. Because there's going to be chaos every day. There's something's going to go wrong, and we have to have the right attitude. And I think the morning's the best time to certainly do that. Has there been a favorite book or an item that you guys have enjoyed a lot and maybe gifted to people to help them on their journey over the years?
I'd say, honestly, one thing that I'm actually, I want to get my family this book all for Christmas, but I don't think they're going to read it. So I don't know if I'm going to do it, but The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. It's just, and like, I read it the first time this summer, and then chaos, and I was doing good, and then chaos happened with the move. And then I was like, okay, I got to do, and then it's just like, I feel like I'm just going to keep reading it for the rest of my life. It's just so good. It just living purposefully and making purposeful decisions throughout your day. It's just powerful. And that, honestly, if I could say, if you could take one book and like, if everyone in the world, I did a post on this, I posted a page of it the other day. It's like, everyone in the world could just read this one page and embody it, like the world would be a totally different place. It's powerful because it affects everything, not because he's some crazy genius or anything. It's because those decisions, those small decisions every day, that shapes your entire life.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that book. I have like 3 copies on my shelf behind me. I got it on audio too. Yeah. It's a great philosophy, especially, to not only teach our teams, but also our children, that the decisions that we make in the moment, when compounded over a long period of time, will make a huge difference. Todd, how about you? Any favorite books that you have that you might have shared?
I read totally different books. I read things like more of the strategy sort of books. The few of them that I really like right now are like .com secrets and expert secrets. And going through those two from Russell Brunson really helped with the business side of things. I've started to read Slide Edge. I try to get in like 10 pages a day. I've gotten like 3 or 4 days into that. So.
Well, well, hey, I appreciate you being totally transparent, because we all go through that stuff. I mean, and a lot of times people have a bunch of books, and I heard somebody once coin the phrase is it's shelf development as opposed to self-development. They buy it and stick it on the shelf because it makes them feel important. Jim Rohn talks about that. I just walk into my library and I just feel smarter.
Yep.
Has there been a purchase for $100 or less that has had a positive impact in your life in the last 6 months, would you say?
I don't know.
It's a tough one.
That's a really hard one.
Those locks we got in the fridge. Keep the kids out.
You can actually see one right there. That's a lock. Because our oldest will get up before us and read things. No, I think we've made a bunch of purchases lately because we moved, but they were all bigger purchases. I don't know anything smaller, business wise. We got our son a bike. That was less than $100, and now I'm doing walks and bike rides with him at night during our family time.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I come up with.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like even a tool or software or something like that.
Rev.com.
What was that?
Rev.com.
Rev.com, yeah.
That's cheap and it does all of our captions. We're really pushing YouTube right now, doing a ton of YouTube content. And Facebook, doing those videos for Facebook, and it makes sure those captions are added for that. So that's a cheap resource that really benefited us.
Yeah, well, that's good. I know you guys have had a whirlwind of life, moving and selling your house and moving and buying, and so it's been a crazy time. Let's move the conversation a little bit more towards business success and the human side of life. Has there been a time recently where you might have struggled with your prosperity and abundance thinking? And if so, or whenever that took place, how'd you work your way through it?
Yeah, that can happen a lot. Like whenever you're implementing a strategy and it's going well, and then suddenly something changes, right? I mean, social media is always changing. And for example, like Facebook ads. Facebook ads are great, but I can definitely say, over the course of the past year, the cost of those ads have gone up. And so, a year ago, where we could put $1 in and expect to get $2 or $3 out on the front end, that's not happening anymore. And so, when that happens, it's like it's real easy to get into that mindset of, oh my goodness, well, if I can't do Facebook ads, where else can I go? What else can I do? Because that was such a big part of our business. And then, when those sorts of things happen, like for us, it was really important to be able to have the personal connections with other leaders in the industry, right? And seeing what they're doing and seeing where their traffic is coming from, and how are they even dealing with Facebook? Even other people that we know who are having the Facebook ads. Well, what do they do? And being able to make those adjustments, and just knowing that, if Facebook were to completely go away, well, you could still have a business. It's just you got to make that switch, and you got to be able to deal with the change. And I think that's kind of like that's a trap a lot of people get into, even when you start having success, is that you kind of get into a rhythm and you get comfortable there, right? And we always talk about this, that comfort zone is often one of the most dangerous places to be. But you got to get to a point where you're comfortable with change. because social media is always going to change. The internet is going to, I mean, the world is always going to change. And so the things that you're doing right now may not be the things that are working even 6-8 months from now.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be willing to be able to adjust to those, and just expect that you're going to have to adjust. And you have to take, and this is why you can only fake it for so long, is because the people that are going to survive, you know, more than a year in this industry are going to be people who are willing to change and to adapt, and, you know, just the people who've actually built the skills, the actual raw marketing skills, the copywriting, the networking, even just being able to get over the fear of hearing no in your business, right? The fear of rejection, the fear of failure. I mean, these are things that can hold you back at any stage in your business. So, you know, just being able to get over those, and just being willing to take action, and just keep taking action until you get the results that you want. And it's that type of mindset that's really going to serve you going forward. Not figuring out just some strategy that's working right now, that if that strategy leaves, well, you know, your business is toast, right? You've got to build the value in yourself, and that's where the real security comes in.
Right. And for me, it's more kind of micro moments where for a second you're like, you get some little piece of bad news or something, you're like, oh, like, but then it's a combination of knowing that we have the skills to make anything work, right? That we've built up our own skill set, that we could have, you know, we could go a million different directions in our business if we're going to put food on the table, right? We have that we've got that down. And it's a combination of that and just my personal faith in God, and that between those two, you know, we're good. Like anything could be thrown at us and we're going to make it because of that.
So that's where you are today. And what I heard you guys say is that you have tremendous self-confidence and belief in yourself, because I think a lot of people hit the proverbial wall and then it's like, woe is me, it's never going to work, and all that kind of stuff. So it's in that moment that you have to create that shift to a different direction. Tell me about that moment for you guys, and how you built that muscle, if you will, to know that you're going to figure it out.
Well, a lot of it just comes from knowing other leaders in the industry, and, you know, seeing the struggles that they have in their business, but also seeing that they succeed year after year after year. You know, and just knowing that, you know, they're no different or special from us, aside from they put the work in. You know, they have the skills themselves. You know, that feeling of, oh no, you know, that oh no feeling that you get, that panic when you feel things aren't going quite the way that you expect, right? And that you're gonna have to make a change, that suddenly what you thought was working is not working, and you don't know what to do, right? That feeling of uncertainty, that's something that you really have to be able to say to yourself, just kind of step back from the situation and say to yourself, well, you've gotten this far. You didn't come this far just to come this far. And you know that other people have figured it out, right? So it's just a matter of you figuring it out and doing the work.
Right. And networking with people, and not just to pitch them, right? But networking to make relationships and to really get to know people and their stories and their journey. Because and live events are really big for this, because you can build really good relationships. You're able to look, you know, maybe you haven't broken through yet. Maybe you're just beginning, but you met us at a live event and you heard about our whole first year and how much we sucked. And then what we've been able to accomplish afterwards, or some other leaders and the walls that they've hit and the things that they've overcome. And so before you have your own success or things to draw upon or confidence in yourself, you need to make those connections and learn those stories. And especially at live events, because you realize we're just normal people. We're all people. No one has this magic, like, success switch that they just turned on and now they are awesome. Like, being able to mastermind and talk and really get to know people at live events and stuff, that's where a lot of magic happens, because you realize they're no different from you. Like we went to, our very first events in the industry, and we're like, oh, these people are amazing and we can never be like them, right? But then you get to interact with them, and especially in the online world, I've seen this much more than what we've experienced in just like offline network marketing events, where that was where we had this like, oh, these people are amazing. And then we got to get into the internet world and work with people and go to live events in more of this sphere. And that's where it was like, wow, they're totally normal people. They're normal. They're just further on their journey. They've just put in the time, and understanding that, I think, is key. Like to when we first started online, and it wasn't immediate at all, and we had to put in a lot of work before we saw any results. And it was knowing, well, yes, but we're doing the right stuff. We've gone through the training. We know what we're supposed to do, and look at this person. What they were able to accomplish. They're no different than us. They're no more special than us, right? And to be able to draw upon that, I think, is really important, especially at the beginning.
Yeah, and the other thing that I would say is that, and I totally lost it. I forgot what I was going to say.
That's okay.
I was going to, whenever we're looking at strategies, right, the stuff that's bringing in traffic, the stuff that's converting that traffic, whatever we're doing, whenever we find that we're not having success with something, and then we see other people who are, that's when we know that, well, it's not the strategy that's broken, right? It's something that we're doing that's not right, right? If we can see something it's working for other people, especially several other people, and suddenly it's not working for us, then it's, a lot of people at that point will say, oh, well, the strategy doesn't work, right? The strategy doesn't work, or it just doesn't work for me, and, I got to find a new strategy, right? And the mindset shift that we had to make that really helped us to really be successful with multiple strategies is, rather than looking outside of ourselves and saying, oh, it's that strategy, oh, it's this, or oh, it's that's the reason why I'm not successful with this, is rather looking in at ourselves and saying, okay, well, what skill do we not have? What is it that we are not doing that they are, that is preventing us from getting the results that we want, right? Because when that reason for your lack of success is external to you, well, then you don't have control over it, right? And it's a false belief that so many people have. And when you suddenly start looking inward and you say, okay, well, the reason for my lack of success is because something that I'm doing or that I'm not doing, well, now it's under my control.
Right.
Right. And when you can make that change in your thinking, well, now you're the one that has control over your business, right? You're the one that has control over your success. And that can really, number one, that'll lead to a lot more success yourself, because now you'll start working on yourself rather than looking at other things that'll help you be successful. You'll work on building the skills in yourself. But that gives you a lot of power, in your business, and a lot more control than what a lot of other people have.
I love that. That's pure gold right there. Has there been a failure or a mistake that you guys have made that later set you up for success?
Yeah. I'd actually say our lead magnet, that we spent so much time creating this online course that was going to walk people through step by step all of these things, and then to a sales process. And we were like making it. We're like, this is awesome.
Oh yeah, we spent months.
Oh, like we poured our hearts into it. It was like, this is going to be awesome. We're just gonna turn this on. We're just gonna pour on some Facebook ads, and it's gonna be money in the bank. And like we had this whole, and it flopped totally. I mean, it just didn't work. That people didn't have the attention span to go through the process. Essentially, is what happened. But in that, going through that process, once we got a few tidbits of learned some things what other people were doing, we essentially did the same thing, but in a slightly different format, in a shorter version, simpler version that kept their attention, and using ManyChat instead of what we were doing before. And then it was gold. I mean, it worked really, really well. But it was really easy to do. But after, we had practiced essentially with our first one that didn't work.
Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. How, important has visualization been for you guys in creating success and prosperity for your life as well as your business?
I think, especially at the beginning, because we really stunk our entire first year, and like we just poured money into our business and couldn't get anything going. And so as we started moving online and started learning skills and everything, I started just visioning walking up on stage. Like I had a song, and I told Todd, like, you don't get to choose the song. I already have the song.
What's the song?
I didn't even know how to say the artist name. It's SIA, the Unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good song. And so I would be caring for our kids and stuff, and I'd blast that music, and I would see us going up on stage, and that was really big, helping us stay focused, helping my energy, stay engaged and focused where it needed to be to keep building. That was really big. Also, our Florida move, I've been envisioning this for a long time. And like I said, the ability to do all that personal development stuff in the sunshine next to our pool, like all of that stuff, like I was, back in Oklahoma when I was freezing my butt off, or I was stuck inside with allergies, I was envisioning being able to spend time poolside working and dipping my toes in the water and like all of that stuff. And now here we are, like we made it happen. And so it's really helpful and powerful and helping your energy stay focused on where it needs to be.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that this is not an easy journey for anybody. I've never known anybody that says, "Oh yeah, it was easy." I've never known anybody to say that.
And they lie.
Right. And that's why you have to have, like they keep saying, your why needs to make you cry, right? You need to have that strong motivating factor to keep you going, failure after failure, that struggle and to do it for a prolonged period of time, right? You need to be able to have that strong motivating factor that will, when you have a failure, when things don't go as planned, when you have a bad day or a bad week or a bad month or whatever it is. I think I'm starting to sing the Friends song. What has been your day, your week, your...
I guess it is.
I grew up in the 90s. So you need to have something that's going to be able to motivate you to keep going, even though things aren't going your way and you have no idea what's going to work or how to make it work, right? That when you have that uncertainty, what's going to keep you going and keep trying and keep moving from failure to failure to failure until you finally have that success, right? And then even if you have that success, it's going to be more failure and failure and failure after that until you have your next success, right? And that's just the way it goes. So you need to have that, be able to like Leah is doing and like I do, like I envision a lot of things as well. I didn't necessarily envision being on stage. What I envisioned was being home with my kids, not having to fly out every week, which was, very tough on our older son when he was, 2 years old. Mm-hmm. Being able to envision those things and knowing that, when I got home from work, even though I was tired, I would still, I'd get home from work, it's 5, 6 o'clock. And, I would still work until midnight, 1, 2 a.m., trying to get doing what needed to be done in our business so that, and wake up the next morning dead tired, so that I could finally achieve what we wanted in our business. Just having those, and the thing is, you need to have a strong motivating factor, because otherwise you're just not going to do it. You'll give up.
Right.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, you guys, I've watched you guys for a long time, and you guys really, really work hard. You've said it a couple of times, and I know Leah's, spend half the night up, you work all through the night, Todd, and you have that burning desire. So let's say somebody is listening to us or watching us and they're stuck financially, or maybe their business is just not happening and they think they're doing all the right stuff. Maybe somebody's too old. Maybe, they're like me, 60 years old. I'm 61 now. Maybe they have tried it all and it just haven't got it, but they see people doing it. Is there maybe 2 or 3 action steps that you would get these people to do to help them get unstuck? You talked about visualization, and I think that's an important part about it. Is there anything else?
I would say every major breakthrough that has come in our business, whenever we've been stuck, every time there's been a jump in income, a jump in level of success, it has always come after we hired a private coach. And I would say if somebody is in a situation right now where they're thinking to themselves, I've tried everything, right? This doesn't work, that doesn't work. I don't know what to do next, right? You need to make that investment in yourself. Find someone who has the business that you want. Find someone who is building their business the way that you want. And it may cost more than what you think it's going to cost. Okay, because coaching, if you want to hire a successful person, you're paying for their time.
Right.
Okay, and that time is not cheap. Okay, but you have to have the confidence in yourself that you're going to take action and do what needs to be done when you hire that person. Right. Because every single time, going from $0, negative $20,000 to making our first commission, that came because we hired a coach. Going from I forget where we were at, where maybe hundreds or maybe a 4-figure months to suddenly we're making 5-figure months. That came because we hired a coach. Going from 10 to 15,000 a month to over 100,000 a month. That came because we hired a coach, and we hired him for over a year. And it was not just hundreds of dollars a month. It was a lot more than that. And we did that for a full year. But, and the thing is, you don't always see the results right away, because typically if the bigger change you want, the longer it's going to take. Right. And, not only the longer it's going to take, but the bigger change that's going to have to happen. Right. You're going to have to change a lot of things in your business, and you may have to make other investments in your business. But the thing is, if you're willing to invest in yourself and you're willing to actually go, take action on what your coach is telling you to do, great things can happen. And for us, every single time we wanted to get to the next level, it's always come because we hired a coach.
And one thing that I would add is that become a master of something. If you're like, I'm doing the thing, but things aren't working, whatever, become a master, whether that's Facebook networking and prospecting, whether that's Instagram, whether that's YouTube, whatever your strategy, you need to choose it and stick with it and then master it. Not just like do it, but master it. And so that means, going through some basic training and implementing it, being super consistent. And then you start finding additional training. Look outside of the normal people that you would learn from, finding people in different industries and pulling them all together and learning, just becoming a master of that strategy. And that's, I think Diane learned it from Diane Hockman at the very beginning when we first came online, and she was saying, don't try to be good at everything. People don't make massive amounts of money being good at everything. People make massive amounts of money being good at just one or two things. They're not good, they're excellent at one or two things. And that's what you get really, 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 really good.
For example, like even a strategy as simple as making posts in Facebook groups. Okay, a lot of people will hear about that and they'll say, "Oh, great!" They'll go through one training and then they'll try it a few times and decide if it works or not. Right? If you really want to master this, if you want to get to a point where you're coaching people on this, here's what we did: is we would make posts in groups and we would test every single way to do it. We would say, okay, so how many posts can I make before I get put in Facebook jail? I don't know how many times we're repeat offenders, definitely getting put in Facebook jail. But then, what are the limits? Find where that limit is and then back off to a point where, okay, so I can make this many posts, and every time I make this many posts, I'm in a safe zone, right? I've never gotten put in Facebook jail by making this many posts. Now, how can I push those limits? And so, we would do this over and over and over and figure out, well, how many posts can we make in an hour? How many posts can we make in a day? And so now we have this strategy. This is what we tell people is, join, say 100 Facebook groups, right? Join 10 a day for 10 days until you've joined 100 Facebook groups, right? Related to your niche. And then each day, right? Make 10 posts in 10 of those groups. So one post in 10 groups and then stop. Okay, stop for 30 to 60 minutes. Then open up another 10 groups and then make another 10 posts. And then stop for 30 to 60 minutes. And you can do that 4 times a day, right? 40 posts. And we've never seen anyone get put in Facebook jail for that.
If
now,
they start slowly.
If they start slowly, right? Now, we've had days where, I can make 80 posts all at once. I've had days where I've made 80 posts in Facebook groups and I just stopped because I was like, okay, this is boring. I've had days where I've done, 40 at a time, and then 40 at a time, then 40, and I made 200 posts in groups. I've had other days where I made 12 posts and I get put in Facebook jail for 2 weeks. Okay. And so it's going through that trial and error and being able to figure, and then what are you posting, right? Are we posting blog posts, blog articles? Are we posting like pitchy stuff? Are we posting links to landing pages that put people into a funnel, right? The types of posts that we post are also stuff that we look at. Okay, what is going to give us the biggest result? What is going to lead to more sales and more leads? And we'll experiment with those sorts of things. But that's a sort of process that we go through, even with something as simple as posting in Facebook groups that, excuse me, that we go through, that other people who don't have our level of success don't go through. But that's one of the things that sets us apart now, where, well, now we train this to everybody, and people come to us asking for training on, well, how do I do this? How do I become more successful at this? Well, this is where you can start. This is how you do it, right? And we've got this strategy now. Mm-hmm. But we can go through that with everything. With Twitter, for example, I will intentionally open up Twitter accounts just to see how I can get them shut down. Just so I can figure out, well, now that I've gotten it shut down, well, how can I get it back, right? Or suspended, right? Yeah, how can I get a Twitter account suspended? What am I doing that gets it suspended? And then what can I do to get it unsuspended, right? And I'll do that. And that the thing is, that is the type of stuff that other people just don't even think to do, right? So many people just want, just give me the strategy, just tell me what I need to do, tell me the button to push to get what I want, and I'll push that button, right? And you say, okay, well, you can do this and this and this, but if that's all you do, you're really going to be limiting yourself. So many people, when they go through a training program, when they hire a coach, they have the mentality of a C student. Just tell me what to do, and I'm going to do the minimum amount possible to get the result I want. Right? They take a training and they say, okay, what's the minimum amount I need to do in order to be successful? Whereas someone who really is focusing on mastering something will they'll go through a training session with a coach, or they'll go through a training course, and we'll say to ourselves, okay, so this is what they did. How can I make that even better? How can I go above and beyond? How can I do even more than what this person here is doing? How can I achieve more? How can I take this and take it to the next level, right? That's the difference between a C student and an A student. And that's the difference between someone who really just never achieves the success they want in their business, right? Because they're always looking to do less than what's required. They're always looking to do the minimum amount required to get what they want, versus someone who is able to take a training or a coaching session or whatever and they do it, and then they figure out a way to make it even better, or to go above and beyond, right? That's a mentality that we've had for whatever we've done, and I think that served us very well. And I think that's but also we were willing to do that because we had, like Leah said, we had that strong vision of what we wanted in our lives, right? Right. So.
Right. How do you help people get over the overwhelm in learning all the online stuff? Because there's a lot of noise out there, and everybody's got their own approach. And some people go down that path and they get almost the information overload. And then they jump to the next thing because they think that's easier. How do you help people crack that nut and stay focused?
So it's the jumping around that's a big part of the problem. Learning, starting with beginner level training, right? Not something that's more advanced, but starting with beginner level training from someone that you connect with, that you understand, how you jive with, right? There's some people that you can talk and you're like, I don't have a clue what they're saying. And there's other people that are like, okay, I get it. They speak my language. So find someone that speaks your language and go through their training and stay with them. Stay focused on what they're saying and what they are teaching you to do when you're just getting started. When you're just starting, it's not the time to go and explore other people's views on this and that, because that's going to just, deer in the headlights. When you're just beginning, take it one step at a time. And there's some different trainers, and we've got something that we've done, and there's other people out there that have actually created bite-sized, like spoon feeding courses for one thing at a time. And so find those. If you know that this is something that you personally struggle with, look for the micro training courses where they're giving you 15 minutes or 20 minutes a day, and moving you forward along the path. But take control. I mean, we're entrepreneurs. It's about solving problems. If that's your problem, let's figure out a way to solve it. Let's find training that's in bite-sized chunks. Let's find the person that you resonate with, that you can understand what they're saying, who's down to earth to you, and just follow them. Just follow this one course until you have confidence in yourself and you have your feet underneath you.
Yeah. I think it's just human nature to want to do everything all at once, right? Or to learn the most advanced stuff right away, because you think that that's what's going to get you the results that you want. It's like, if you were to walk into a martial arts dojo and you expect on your first day to learn how to do a jump spin kick. well, no, day one, we're going to teach you how to put on your gi, and then we're going to teach you how to tie your belt, and then we're going to teach you how to fall on the mat so you don't get hurt. That's what you learn on your first day in your first month, right?
Yep.
And then we'll show you how to do a punch, right? How to hold your fist the right way, right? You got to start with those beginning steps before you can those more advanced things. They're great, and a lot of times, this is a mistake that we even got into of when we learned those things, we were so excited, we thought it was the greatest thing in the world. We started teaching other people that. And we like some of our earlier training that we gave away for free, that we never should have given away for free, was some of the most advanced stuff that we had learned. And people would go through our trainings, and it would be like a 4-hour YouTube training on how to rank your videos. Yeah. And we would have people that
had just signed up that day.
Yep. Had just signed up that day. And suddenly we hit them like a 4-hour YouTube SEO training. And they would quit.
Shock.
So yeah, that's there's a hard lesson on our point on our part, but yeah, even it's you gotta until you start having success with one thing, you shouldn't be moving on to the next, right? And a lot of that just comes from having that coach. Because a lot of times you don't know, well, what level of success should I have before I move on to the next thing, right? What can I consider success? And time and time again, like I said, every time we've had that major breakthrough, it's because we've hired a coach that has gotten their hands into our business, saw what we were doing, and helped us personally to get to the next level. So
that's fantastic. Great. Appreciate that. Okay, let's shift the conversation to a couple of lighter subjects. Let's say you had the ability to send everybody a text message tomorrow morning around the world about creating a prosperous and abundant and successful life. What would that message say?
That's an awesome question, but it's something that you want to write out and think of. I would say something along the lines of you are loved, you are worthy, and you have the ability to change anything you're looking to change in your life. Going more to the slight edge message, that those, your small decisions every day, that's what's determining everything in your life. And if you want to change your life, you change those small decisions day after day, and you can change everything.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I don't know exactly what I'd say to get this message across, but you are in control of your life, right? Whatever you want in your life, you have the power in yourself to be able to accomplish that. And the only thing that is holding you back is you. And maybe that would be it. The only thing that's holding you back is you. When I look at social media, when I look at, the news or wherever else, and I see people who are so unhappy with their lives, I can, just listening to what they say, I can almost 100% of the time guarantee it's because they have put the blame for their situation on someone else outside of them.
Yeah, and it's not to say that everybody gets a fair deal and bad things don't happen. No, bad things happen, and bad things, really, really bad things happen. I mean, look at California and everything that's going on. Bad things are going to happen, but you are in control of how you react to the world, to all of those bad things, how you view them and what you do next. And that's what I don't think people understand. And they let the world influence them instead of taking charge and making their life what they want it to be.
Right. Okay, here's a fun one for you. Is there an unusual habit or thing that you guys love?
I do dance parties with the boys. I don't know. You put on the music and they're hilarious. They are really fun. And then for Halloween, we went to like a trunk or treat thing, and there was a dance party for the little kids. And our son Edmund, the 4-year-old, like went to town. He was like no other kid there, like busting out the moves and all. And it was like, yeah, we dance at home.
I love it.
What'd you say?
I'm not weird like you.
No, he does really good voices when he's reading books to the boys.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
The gingerbread man one was pretty
Oh,
good.
yeah. Edmund loves that one.
Yeah.
Is there a mantra that you guys have to keep your head on right?
Not in words for me, but I have just my faith as a Christian, just my faith in Christ, and that He's got it. Like, that's just a feeling. That's like just a feeling that I try to embody, and that whenever, when people say mantras, when things are going crazy and they're trying to get their head in the game, to me, that's just a breathe. That's a breathe. He's got it. Like that's, I don't say it in words, but that's my thought process, that right. No matter what happens, breathe. He's got it. Like, we're good.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's just being able to step back. Like whenever I have those feelings of, oh my goodness, everything is falling apart, or this is horrible, or whatever, just stepping back and looking, imagining myself in someone else's position, right? Someone who has less, but they're they don't have the anxiety or whatever, at that moment. Like if someone else had what I had, what would they be thinking, right? I think we forget, even in the United States here, if you are living at poverty level income, you are still among the top 20% of income earners in the entire world, right? And I think we forget that. It's just, to live where we live and in the time that we do, to have the right to complain about anything. I just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we're just blessed. I mean, we don't have to punch the clock. We get to spend as much time with our kids as we want. You want to make money, you just work harder. You want to take some time off, you can do that. Like, that's what, I mean, in what era is this even possible unless you were born into a super rich family? You know what I mean? Like, and we definitely weren't. I mean, we're blessed. We just live in a very blessed time.
All right. Well, you guys have certainly been great examples for all of us. And I certainly want to recognize you for not your financial accomplishments, but who you are as individuals. Because I think you're a great example of parents, of leadership, of being humble. And I just want to say thank you for being you. So if somebody wants to connect with you guys, what's the best way for them to reach out to you and connect?
Well, thank you very much. That was very powerful. What did you say?
Just our website,
Yeah.
toddandleahray.com.
And that's with the ERAE.com.
Fantastic. Well, again, Todd and Leah, I want to say thank you so much for everything you shared. I'll be listening to this over and over again because you guys really dropped some gold there. Again, you make it look easy, but I know you're incredibly hard workers, and I know that you're living the dream. And if you can do it, anybody can do it if they just follow your methods and your patterns. So thank you again for being you. My friend watching, hopefully you got some value out of this. Hopefully you learned some strategies, created a different philosophy, maybe shift some little things for your thinking and your activities. If you want to get more great interviews like this one, just go to terrypetrovick.com/mentors. Remember this, my friend, you have a choice. Make it a better than terrific day and a prosperous one because you absolutely deserve it. Until next time, bye-bye for now.